Never stay broke. My takeaways. Chapter 1. The harsh truth about being broke. Let's be real. Being broke isn't just about not having money. It's a mindset, a pattern, a lifestyle that quietly eats away at your confidence and your future. And here's the part most people don't like to admit. Being broke feels normal when you've been living like that for too long. You start adapting to it. You learn to survive instead of build. You make excuses like everyone's struggling or money isn't everything. But deep down, you know that's not true. You just don't want to face the uncomfortable reality that your habits, not the economy, not your boss, not your circumstances, are what's keeping you broke. Now listen, I'm not here to bash anyone. I've been there. I've had those weeks where you check your account and it's damn near empty. You tell yourself it's temporary, but deep down you start wondering if maybe this is just how it's supposed to be. That feeling, that helplessness, it sticks. And unless you make a serious shift, it becomes your identity. That's why Joseph Rutakangwa's main point in Never Stay Broke hit me like a hammer. Motivation alone won't save you. And man, that's the truth. Because motivation fades the second life hits you. You can watch every get-rich video, read every quote, listen to every guru, but the moment rent's due or your car breaks down, motivation disappears. The problem isn't that people don't want to do better. It's that they confuse being motivated with being ready. Motivation gets you hyped. But readiness? That comes from having systems, discipline, and direction. Here's the reality. Money doesn't care how inspired you are. It doesn't care how many vision boards you've made. Money follows rules. It flows towards structure, not emotion. When I learned that, it changed everything. I stopped asking, how do I make more money? And started asking, how do I make money stay? Because truthfully, you don't need to get rich overnight. You just need to stop staying broke forever. And that starts with accountability, not blaming, not wishing, not hoping. Just looking in the mirror and saying, if I'm broke, it's on me. That's power right there. Because once you take responsibility, you take control. You can't fix something you refuse to own. The people who stay broke are usually the ones who think they're doing enough. They work hard, but they work blind. They confuse motion with progress. They're stuck in the same cycle. Wake up, grind, get paid, spend, repeat. They're busy, but not building. And that's the trap, the illusion of effort without direction. You've got to switch from being a grinder to being a strategist. Grinding keeps you tired. Strategy keeps you paid. And I'll be honest with you, that transition isn't easy. Because most of us grew up thinking working harder was the answer. No one taught us about leverage, or systems, or how money actually works. We were told, go to school, get a job, save what's left. But that formula doesn't work anymore. If you want to never stay broke, you've got to unlearn that. You've got to stop chasing effort and start chasing effectiveness. Being broke is a temporary situation. Staying broke is a choice. And the longer you choose comfort over discipline, the longer you'll live in frustration. So here's the harsh truth. If you're broke right now, that's fine. Just don't get comfortable there. Don't make it your identity. Don't wear struggle like it's some badge of honor. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to say, I'm not staying like this. Because the second you make that decision, everything changes. You stop chasing hype and start chasing habits. You stop talking about success and start designing it. You stop reacting to money and start commanding it. That's the shift Joseph is talking about. The difference between hoping to get rich and deciding to never stay broke again. Motivation fades. Circumstances change. But structure? That's what lasts. So here's the takeaway from this first chapter. If you're serious about building wealth, forget about getting motivated. Start getting organized. Start building habits that outlast emotions. Start moving with strategy, not adrenaline. Because being broke isn't just a number. It's a pattern you either keep feeding or finally decide to break. And the day you decide to break it, that's the day you stop surviving and start building. Chapter 2, Money has rules. Learn them or lose. Let's get one thing straight. Money is a game. And like any game, If you don't know the rules, you lose every single time. I've watched guys grind their asses off, thinking hard work alone is the answer. They hustle 18 hours a day, take side jobs, skip meals, skip sleep. And for what? They're still broke. Because effort without strategy is like pushing a car with flat tires. You're moving, but you're not going anywhere. Joseph Rutakangwa hits the point home. Money isn't about luck. It's not about wishful thinking or manifesting. It's about understanding how it moves, how it grows, and how to make it work for you instead of the other way around. Here's the truth most people ignore. Every dollar has a job. You either give it a job or it disappears. Think about it. You earn money, and it hits your account. What do most people do? Spend it. Buy something temporary that makes them feel good. The dollar works for nothing. And then you wonder why you're still broke at the end of the month. The difference between a broke man and a wealthy man isn't talent. It's rules, systems, discipline. You've got to learn the 3 things money respects. 1, earning. You need income that scales, not just hours. Clocking more hours only gets you tired. You need to create or provide value that multiplies. 2, saving. Protect your gains. Don't let lifestyle creep eat your progress. If you make $5,000 a month but spend $4,900, congratulations when you're still broke. 3, investing. Make your money work while you sleep. Don't just park it in a bank account. Learn assets, learn leverage, learn compounding. Most people get stuck because they skip one of these. They chase one rule and ignore the other, and that's where money punishes you. Here's the harsh reality. The rich don't get rich because they're smarter than you. They get rich because they understand rules you're ignoring. They treat money like a tool, not a toy. They know every dollar is a soldier. It either fights for you or against you. I remember when I started seeing it. I had money coming in, but I was broke a week later. Every time I got paid, it vanished. I thought I was hustling, but I was just playing the same game wrong. The breakthrough came when I started tracking, categorizing, and assigning purpose to every dollar. Suddenly, money wasn't just passing through my hands. It was building, multiplying, working. That's the power of rules. Joseph emphasizes this too. Money doesn't care about your feelings, your excuses, or your stress. It follows patterns. It reacts to systems. So the second you treat it like an unstructured mess, you stay broke. Here's another thing people overlook. Money rewards predictability. Banks, investors, and partners all want consistency. They reward people who are disciplined, organized, and reliable. Chaos doesn't attract cash. Structure does. And let's be honest, that's empowering. Once you learn the rules, the game flips in your favor. Suddenly, you're not just hoping for income, you're commanding it. You start seeing money as a tool to create freedom, not a stressor to survive. So here's the takeaway. Stop treating money like luck. Stop acting like life owes you something. Start learning the rules. Earn strategically. Save ruthlessly. Invest wisely. Every dollar you touch should have a mission. Every choice should build leverage. Because when you master the rules, being broke isn't just unlikely. It's impossible. And that's the first step toward real freedom. Once you internalize this, you stop chasing money and start controlling it. That's when the game changes. And from that point forward, staying broke isn't an option. Chapter 3, The Broke Mindset, Escaping Survival Mode. Let's get real. Most people who stay broke aren't broke because of money. They're broke because of their mindset. I call it survival mode. It's that mental loop where you're always reacting, always chasing, never planning. It's exhausting. And the worst part? It feels normal. When you're living in survival mode, every dollar you earn disappears like water through a sieve. Every opportunity feels risky, every decision feels urgent, and every setback feels catastrophic. You start living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, as if the future doesn't exist. And here's the thing. Survival mode is addictive. It gives you a false sense of accomplishment. Look, I'm hustling. I'm doing everything I can. But what you're really doing is trapped in reaction. Joseph Rutakangwa drives this point home. Escaping the broke mindset isn't about making more money. It's about thinking differently about money, risk, and control. It's about shifting from reactive survival to strategic creation. Here's the kicker. When you're in survival mode, fear runs the show. Fear of not having enough. Fear of losing what little you have. Fear of making a move because what if it fails? And fear is paralyzing. It keeps you small, it keeps you safe, and it keeps you broke. I've been there. I know that anxiety, that tight chest when bills are looming and options feel zero. It's like quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. The first step out, awareness. You have to see the pattern clearly. You have to admit, I've been living in survival mode, not blaming anyone, not apologizing, just acknowledging it. The second step, choice. Because the moment you realize survival mode is a choice, even subconsciously, you reclaim power. You start making decisions based on strategy, not panic. You plan for weeks, months, years ahead. You say no to instant gratification. You start building systems that protect you from crisis instead of chasing temporary fixes. Joseph calls this reprogramming your financial DNA. I like to think of it like this. If your brain was wired to survive yesterday, it won't automatically thrive tomorrow. You have to rewire your habits, your thinking, and your actions. And that's where most people fail. Because rewiring takes patience, discomfort, and discipline. It's boring, it's slow, it's not glamorous, but it works. Here's what I realized. The second I started thinking in terms of abundance instead of scarcity, things shifted. I stopped seeing every dollar as something I needed. I started seeing it as something I could use strategically. I stopped living paycheck to paycheck. I started planning investments, building assets, and creating multiple streams of income. The broke mindset doesn't just affect your wallet. It affects every part of your life. Your relationships, your confidence, your ability to take risks, even your self-respect. Once you escape it, everything changes. You stop fearing decisions. You stop panicking when opportunities appear. You start moving like a man in control, confident, deliberate, and ready to build. So here's the takeaway from this chapter. Awareness is everything. Recognize you're in survival mode. Choice is freedom. Decide to think differently, act differently. Strategy beats panic. Build systems, habits, and plans that last. Fear is temporary. Discipline and foresight are permanent. Escape the broke mindset first. The money will follow. Because being broke isn't a permanent state. Staying broke, that's a mindset. And the second you break free from it, that's when you start winning. Chapter 4, Building Value That Pays Forever. All right, now we're getting to the part where most guys tap out. They want money, but they don't want to build value. And that's the difference between chasing a paycheck and creating real wealth. Let me break it down. Money always follows value. It doesn't care about your hustle. It doesn't care about your motivation. It flows to the people who give something that others need, want, or can't get anywhere else. Joseph Rutakangwa calls it the long game. And he's right. Quick wins feel great, but they don't last. Building value is slow, painful, sometimes frustrating, but it pays forever. Here's the thing. People think creating value means starting a company, inventing something, or having a big idea. That's only part of it. Value can be a skill, a reputation, a service, or even a system you create that makes life easier for others. If you can solve problems, save time, or produce results for someone else, you're building value. I've seen guys grind for hours just to make money directly, without thinking about long-term leverage. They treat work like a vending machine. Insert effort, get immediate cash. But life doesn't work that way. The men who build lasting wealth think differently. They invest in themselves and skills that compound over time. They create systems that work even when they aren't working. They focus on multiplication, not just addition. Let me give you a real example. When I started building multiple streams of income, I realized one thing. Each dollar I earned could either vanish in a day or it could be put to work. I could spend it on instant gratification, drinks, gadgets, unnecessary toys, or I could turn it into something that grows. That's building value. Joseph stresses the same principle. If you want to never stay broke, stop chasing money and start chasing influence, skills, and systems. Because money is just a reflection of the value you deliver. Give more value, and money follows naturally. Here's a key point most guys overlook. Value doesn't expire. A skill you master today can pay for years. A system you create now can earn while you sleep. A reputation you build can open doors decades later. Most people ignore that because it's slow. They want quick fixes, immediate results, instant gratification. And that's why they stay broke. Building value requires patience. It requires thinking 5, 10, even 20 steps ahead. It requires ignoring the noise, the distractions, the people who say it's too complicated or too slow. But here's the payoff. Once you start creating real value, everything changes. You stop trading time for money. You start creating assets that work for you. You get leverage, and leverage is everything. Leverage means your effort multiplies. One connection, one system, one skill can produce results far beyond what you could achieve alone. That's why the rich don't just work harder. They work smarter. They build value that compounds, that grows, that lasts. They don't chase the next paycheck. They build the next opportunity. So the takeaway here is simple. Stop chasing fast money. Start building something that lasts. Invest in skills, relationships, and systems. Create value that others can't ignore. Because once you master that, you're not just making money, you're creating freedom, security, and control. And that's the foundation of never staying broke. Remember, quick wins are temporary, but value pays forever. And when you finally internalize that, your mindset shifts. You stop worrying about today's bills and start thinking about tomorrow's empires. Chapter 5, Work, Discipline, and the Long Game. Here's the hard truth most guys don't want to hear. Nobody builds lasting wealth by getting lucky. You don't stumble into freedom by chance. You earn it. You grind for it. You discipline yourself for it. Joseph Rutakangwa drives this point home. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the engine. And if your engine isn't running, the spark doesn't matter. Think about it. The most successful people you know didn't wake up one day and decide to be rich. They did what most guys won't. They stuck to systems, routines, and habits that seemed boring, frustrating, or even pointless at the time. Because they understood something crucial. Success is a long game. Most people quit before the long game pays off. They get tired, distracted, impatient. They see a week or a month go by without results and think it's hopeless. That's where the weak fall off. The disciplined thrive. Discipline isn't sexy. It's waking up early when your bed is warm. It's choosing to invest instead of spend. It's saying no to distractions that feel good but destroy your progress. It's grinding when nobody's watching. And that's the reality Joseph highlights. The long-term results come to the man who can delay gratification, the one who doesn't need instant approval, instant cash, or instant recognition. I'll be real with you. There were times I wanted to quit. Times I thought, why am I doing this? No one cares, I'm tired. But I remembered something crucial. The grind is invisible. The payoff isn't instant. And the moment you accept that, everything changes. The long game also teaches you emotional control. Because money, opportunity, and life don't arrive on your schedule. Things break. Plans fail. People disappoint. If your emotions control you, you make poor decisions. If discipline controls you, you make moves that matter, no matter what happens. Joseph also emphasizes building systems that survive human inconsistency. Your discipline shouldn't rely on how you feel today. It should be baked into your life. Habits, processes, checklists, routines, so you keep moving forward whether you're motivated or not. And here's the secret most people miss. Consistency compounds faster than talent. You can be less talented, less lucky, or less connected, but if you're consistent, if you grind smarter every day, results will find you. Discipline is like compounding interest. A little today, a little tomorrow, a little next week. And over months and years, it turns into massive results. The man who outdisciplines everyone else will win every single time. So the takeaway? Stop chasing hype, inspiration, or hot tips. Start building discipline. Wake up early, work smart, delay gratification. Build systems. Protect your energy. Do the hard, boring, unglamorous work now, and your future self will thank you. Because at the end of the day, the long game is simple. The disciplined win, the reactive lose. And the man who understands patience, control, and compounding builds wealth that lasts. Here's the truth you can't ignore. The grind isn't just work. It's a training ground. It teaches you patience, resilience, focus, and foresight. Qualities that no degree, no mentor, and no shortcut can give you. So embrace the work. Respect the process. And remember, motivation is temporary, but discipline is forever. If you stick to it, you won't just make money. You'll build a life that can't be shaken. Chapter 6. Relationships, Reputation, and Leverage. Here's a reality most guys don't like to admit. You can't get rich alone. You can grind, hustle, and work 24/7, but without the right people around you, you'll hit limits. Opportunities don't appear out of thin air. They flow through relationships, networks, and reputation. Joseph Rutakangwa emphasizes this in Never Stay Broke. Your connections are leverage, and leverage multiplies your effort faster than any grind you can do alone. Think about it. A single partnership, a single mentor, a single connection can open doors that would take years to knock on yourself. Meanwhile, the wrong relationships will hold you back, drain your energy, and waste your time. So the first rule is simple. Protect your circle. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not everyone deserves your trust. The broke mindset thrives in groups. It finds people who complain, procrastinate, and make excuses. Then it reinforces that behavior. If you hang around them, you start absorbing that scarcity mentality. Instead, surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. Not because they're nicer or smarter, but because they raise your standard. Second, your reputation is currency. Everything you do, every promise you keep, every deal you honor, every interaction builds or destroys trust. And trust is more valuable than cash. You can recover money you lose. You can't recover a destroyed reputation easily. The wealthy understand this. They know opportunities flow to the man people can rely on. Consistency, integrity, and follow-through are more powerful than charm or hype. Here's where leverage comes in. Leverage isn't just money, it's people, systems, time, and knowledge, all multiplied to create massive impact. If you want to escape the broke cycle, you have to start thinking in terms of leverage. A single mentor can teach you 10 years worth of lessons in months. A single system can automate your business so you earn while you sleep. A single strong connection can give you opportunities that take others years to find. But here's the truth most guys ignore. Leverage only works if you're valuable first. You can't expect doors to open if you have nothing to offer. You have to develop skills, results, and credibility first. Then leverage becomes the amplifier, not a shortcut around effort. I learned this the hard way. Early in my career, I thought networking was just shaking hands and collecting contacts. I realized quickly that relationships are earned, not bought. People only invest in you if you deliver value consistently. That's why Joseph says, treat every connection like an asset and protect it like capital. Because relationships and reputation are compounding investments. They pay off exponentially over time if managed wisely. Neglect them, and you'll struggle no matter how hard you grind. Here's the takeaway from this chapter. Surround yourself with winners, not whiners. And protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Build a reputation for reliability, integrity, and competence. Use leverage, people, systems, knowledge, to multiply your impact. Always give more value than you take. Leverage is the bridge between effort and freedom. It's how ordinary men become extraordinary. And it's one of the biggest factors separating the broke from the wealthy. Remember, money will always follow influence, trust, and value. If you master relationships, reputation, and leverage, you don't just make money, you command opportunities, control your destiny, and secure your freedom. And that's how you break the cycle of staying broke. Chapter 7, Wealth is Freedom, Not Flexing. Here's something a lot of guys get wrong about money. They think wealth is about showing off. It's not. Wealth isn't about cars, watches, or Instagram likes. Those are distractions, illusions of success. Joseph Rutakangwa makes this crystal clear. Real wealth is freedom. Freedom to control your time, your choices, and your life. Freedom to walk away from situations that don't serve you. Freedom to create on your terms. Think about it. The guy who's rich on social media might be broke in reality. He's living paycheck to paycheck, buying liabilities, borrowing, stressing. Meanwhile, the man who's disciplined, strategic, and focused might quietly own multiple assets, investments, and income streams, and nobody even knows it. That's the point. Wealth isn't a flex. It's control. Freedom is the real measure of success. Not how many people admire you. Not how flashy your lifestyle looks. It's about waking up and knowing you don't owe anyone an explanation. It's about making decisions based on what's best for you, not what impresses others. Here's the harsh truth most people ignore. Chasing appearance over substance keeps you broke. You'll spend money you don't have to look rich for people who don't care. You'll trade long-term freedom for short-term validation. And eventually, you're trapped. The man who understands freedom thinks differently. Every purchase is an investment or a liability. Every dollar spent is a choice, a vote for the life he wants. Every decision is weighed against independence, leverage, and growth. I realized this the hard way. Early on, I spent like everyone else. Fancy dinners, gadgets, cars I couldn't really afford. It felt good in the moment, but it never created options. It never created freedom. It created stress, debt, dependence. Once I shifted my mindset, once I started seeing money as a tool for control, everything changed. Suddenly, I wasn't chasing money for fun or validation. I was building it to create freedom, security, and opportunities I could call my own. Joseph emphasizes the same. Wealth is about options. It's about never being forced to do something you don't want to do. It's about being able to walk away from toxic people, bad deals, or dead-end situations without fear. And here's the thing. Freedom compounds. The more you control your time, your assets, and your choices, the more opportunities appear. You start seeing options everywhere. And unlike money in the wrong hands, freedom doesn't disappear if spent wisely. So the takeaway? Stop chasing appearances. Stop trying to impress people who don't matter. Focus on freedom, control, and leverage. Every decision, every dollar, every action should bring you closer to independence. True wealth isn't flashy, it's quiet, it's strategic, it's deliberate, and it's built over time, brick by brick, habit by habit. When you finally understand that, you stop being a slave to money. You stop working for approval or hype. You start working for yourself. And that's when life finally changes. Remember this. The man who seeks freedom, not flexing, is untouchable. The flashy rich might impress crowds, but the free rich command their living. And if your goal is to never stay broke, that's the mindset you need. Chapter 8, Final Words. Never stay broke again. Here's the bottom line. Never stay broke isn't just a slogan. It's a mindset, a decision, a way of living. Joseph Rutakangwa's message is clear. You can't rely on luck, motivation, or chance. You rely on yourself, your habits, your discipline, your choices. Being broke isn't the problem. Staying broke is. That's the harsh truth most people don't want to hear. The men who escape this cycle are the ones who take ownership, total ownership. They don't blame the economy, their upbringing, or bad timing. They look in the mirror and say, "This is on me, and I'm fixing it." That's power. Because once you accept responsibility, you reclaim control. You stop hoping for luck and start designing results. Joseph teaches that success isn't about chasing money, it's about building yourself. Discipline, patience, skill, and value. That's the currency that outlasts every paycheck. Build that, and money flows naturally. Ignore it, and no amount of effort will save you. Another key point. Never stay broke means thinking long-term. It's about systems, not quick wins. It's about compounding habits, not chasing hype. It's about building assets and relationships that work for you, even when you aren't grinding. And yes, it's uncomfortable. It's slow. It's often lonely. But that discomfort is the price of freedom. Most men quit at the first sign of struggle. You don't. You push through. Because the payoff isn't just money, it's control, options, and peace of mind. Here's the truth I've learned personally. Being broke doesn't define you. Your mindset does. Your habits do. Your ability to take action consistently, even when no one's watching, does. So what does it mean to never stay broke? Take full responsibility for your life and finances, build value that lasts, and surround yourself with the right people. Use leverage to multiply your efforts. Focus on freedom, not appearances. Discipline yourself to act, even when motivation fades. Do this, and you'll break the cycle. Do this, and you'll never feel powerless again. Do this, and you'll finally step off the treadmill of survival mode. Remember, motivation is temporary, hype is fleeting, and luck is unreliable. Discipline, strategy, and value are permanent. Master those, and staying broke isn't an option. So here's my final takeaway for you. Being broke is a lesson. Staying broke is a choice. Own your habits, your decisions, and your mindset, and you'll never stay broke again. That's the power of perspective, the power of responsibility, the power of discipline. Apply it, live it, and watch your life transform. Being broke taught me something money never could. That freedom isn't about what's in your wallet. It's about who you become when you've got nothing left but drive. Build skills, build control, build value, and you'll never stay broke again. And thank you for listening.